Super chat from Sup Glossary. I guess the glossary, I'm gonna mess that up. He says, "Are hardware keyboards forever doomed to be inferior substitutes for VSTs, Nord pianos, Kronos EPs, and user storage, Roland Sense?" He said, "I can get caliber, I can get that caliber in laptop VSTs. Nobody can put all of that in one hardware board." Um, I think that's a solid point. You know what I'm saying? The whole laptop situation
I'm
versus
sorry.
hardware.
Run that back one more time.
So basically, to sum it up, what he's saying is, and what he's
Run that
asking
back one
is,
more time. I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah. To sum it up, what he's asking is are hardware boards forever doomed to be inferior to VSTs? So he's saying like with your computer and with your VSTs and all of that stuff now, you got better sounds, better samples, better quality sounds in what you can get on a computer versus what you get at a hardware board. So he's like, why aren't the hardware boards at the same quality or timbre as the uh software? You know what I mean? Why is software edged up ahead of hardware now? Like, of course, you got a good sounding piano in the Nord, right? But you got Keyscape that's like $500. You know what I'm saying? And if you got a good computer that can run it, you got a equal or better sounding piano on your computer than you do in the Nord itself. That's basically what
Spoiler
he's
alert.
asking. What was you gonna
Spoiler
say?
alert. These keyboards are computers.
Wait,
Yeah,
None of them
Sheridan.
are
absolutely.
running.
Hold on.
But before
Before
we get
either one of
into,
y'all answer, because hold on. Be, but before y'all answer, because I know both of y'all about to go down this geeky rabbit trail that I
See,
don't
but when
have,
I
right?
say it, but when I
But
say it, it's a
I want to
jab.
talk. I want to talk about. No, yeah, it's a jab, but I'm not going down on geeky rabbit trail, so I'm gonna go on mute as soon as I say this.
that's fine.
The first problem with the computer is it sounds different in the studio than it sounds in a live setting. And if you don't know how to set it up in a live setting, you're not going to get the same sound quality. That's the first problem. The second problem is y'all don't spend enough money on actual computer that has enough space to carry you through situations to situation. And if your computer happen to update, and I forgot this last part. Y'all too cheap to go buy the real. Okay, I'm cussing Sheridan. Y'all don't want to buy the real shit. So since y'all don't want to buy it, y'all out here buying this crack version and getting all these crack VSTs. Then your computer start twerking and you can't get it to act right. So no, in most situations, you'll end up spending just. This is how I feel about watching streaming TV versus watching cable. You still end up spending the same amount of
Come on,
money
I agree
to
with you on
get
that.
what you're gonna get out of hardware versus what you're gonna get out of software if you're gonna spend the money on getting it the right way. If you're not gonna get it the right way and you're gonna call a couple of people who say I could download this on your computer for $25 and I got an $80 crack, like if you're not running the right software, if you're not running the right DAW, if you don't have the right interface, if you don't know how to hook your interface up, and if you don't have a good mixing engineer, stick to the hardware. I'm going on mute. I ain't
Yeah,
gonna say nothing else. I'm sorry for cussing, Sheridan.
I mean, Doc, nah, you preached a good sermon, Doc. You
that's a good
cussed in
word.
your sermon, but you
That's a good
preached a
word.
good sermon, man. I
I'll
mean,
jump in. I'll jump in as the proprietor of a lot of the software movement. You know, I was using my MacBook and a MIDI controller in like 2010 and preaching the gospel about that. And I still stand on business and stand 10 toes on everything that I believe about software and hardware, that the software rigs are just as capable and just as astute as a hardware rig. With the caveat is this. Here's the caveat. This is where I'll precursor and connect with what Kenny's saying, is that it takes a certain type of person that understands things at a level to really have a and run a real software rig. Go look at Billy Joel's musician, the guy that MDs and tours for Billy Joel, and see his whole main stage rig, and you'll see what I'm talking about. These guys, you have to think, you can approach software like you approach hardware, but you got to have a different route and a different mentality when you're approaching building an all software rig. And to Kenny's point, trying to build an all software rig is just as expensive as spending money on a hardware board. Now you can get in the barrier of entry is low because you can get an M Audio MIDI controller for like $200 or $300. Then you can get a MacBook Air, the new joint, the M5 joint, that's solid. Get it with like 16 gigs of RAM. You're gonna spend about $1,200. Now you in there $1,500. Now you got to get like Keyscape and all of those things like that to get the actual sounds that you want. Then you're still sub 2,000 on a good rig. The problem is when you really start maxing it out and getting all of the different software, $200 for this, $300 for this, $50 for this, $75 for this, $100 for this software, this plugin, this DAW, this, that. Now you're getting into the $3,000 to $4,000 range that you're spending on software, trying to build a software rig. Ask me how I know, because I've built out my software rig for over a decade, and I've probably spent close to $15,000 to $20,000 just on an all software rig over the course of a decade, buying the different softwares, buying different MIDI controllers, testing out this, testing that. So yes, to Kenny's point, I lock in with him. Now, to address the other part of what he was asking about why hardware hasn't caught up to software in that space, I would say if you're looking for a solid board that falls into that point, you're going to check out the Core Chronos 3. That's going to be like your closest to a computer setup than you're going to get with any of these other boards. Even though the Phantom runs Linux, I believe some of the other Core boards run Linux. I think even the 3 Core Chronos 3 is running Linux. But a lot of these other boards are computers, and they have hard drives and they have space. There are computers. The difference is that's the closest you're gonna get with the Core Chronos 3. That's my space with that. I don't know what you wanted to say on this, Sheriden.
So here's my thing. When you buy a computer, you don't buy it to play sounds only. Exactly. You're going to do a lot of other things with it. You're going to expose it to the internet, the woes of the internet. You are going to do random things with it. So it's not dedicated to playing sound. So you could run into an issue with your software that was introduced to your computer by a website that you were on, by another program that you downloaded, by something else. Or your computer could just decide that some particular update, and even the guys that don't update their stuff, that some particular update is just going to throw your whole computer operation in the trash.
Now that can happen with hardware boards too.
But hold on. I have a P330 behind me.
Oh, no, you ain't updating
that. When I tell you, the only thing that I've ever had wrong with the P330 is I had one lemon unit that couldn't handle the heat, and it was probably exposed to so much more heat before it got to me that just a little bit of heat was making it mess up. But I got another one behind me. This thing, and we've talked about this. You got racks that are 30 and 40 years old, still working because they have one job: cut on and reciprocate that MIDI CC that's going into there and change it to audio, translate that to audio. With these keyboards, I mean, they have one job. So they run off of operating systems just like computers. And just like John's point, and to my earlier point, you're running Linux and Windows on the majority of these keyboards. But again, they have one job. So when you cut those on, they're reliable and they do what they're supposed to do. You don't have to do any updates except for firmware updates. And even with that, you'll get to a certain point to where the manufacturer will stop pushing firmware updates. Why? Because it doesn't need any more updates and it's still going to function as it should. My Phantom G, I haven't updated that in years because there's no more updates for it. But guess what? When I played it Sunday, it did everything that I expected it to do. So
that's a good point.
Now, as far as the sound quality of those instruments, I mean, that's just a technological thing. If you go back to the XP series, the JVSR 80 series from Roland, the quality of those pianos are not the same as this Phantom right here. because the technology has been updated. We talked about this on the last live. The
Yeah.
technology has been updated to where you can compress more information, higher rates of information into smaller spaces, so you can pack them into these keyboards that are pushing out higher bit rates. They're pushing out higher sample rates. They're pushing out a lot more information
Yeah.
in rapid time. So, so I know that you have new computers coming out and all of this stuff, but you always gonna be updating those softwares.
So
I mean,
I
this
agree.
this is gonna come out with updates, yeah, but a lot of those older keyboards, there's no more updates. And when you turn that keyboard on and you want to hit that Beltree Vox in this JV 2080, you just know what to do, and you can cut
That's
it
a
on,
smart
and it's
point.
gonna
That's
it's gonna
that's a
do its
great
thing.
point.
You just gonna be changing a memory battery.
I agree.
So
I think there's
it's
like
hardware
somebody
for me.
said somebody else said it's pros and cons to both, and I think this gets this next con. He hit us with another super chat. He said, and I appreciate the $20, bro, for real. But he said this is where the real point is, the linchpin is, and if you guys can read that, I'll read it out just in case. He says, I feel like if Nord is going to charge $6K for a board, every category from pianos, EPs, strings, etc should be as good. I shouldn't have 1 or 2 gigabyte of user storage. Kronos gives you 120 gigabyte SSD. I think that speaks to a different and more valid point versus in the hardware software thing. It's the expense of it is like, if I'm going to spend that much, and now I think Nord is the exception because I feel like everything now they could do a whole lot more work with the synth section. They're getting better. The Wave is a good example, and then even some of the stuff that's in the stage 4, and I guess what's going to be in the upcoming Electro. They're doing better with their synth stuff, but their pianos, organs, and EPs, they're all on point. I got no check for you on that. Now, if we go down to some of the other boards, the Rolands, the uh, killing on synth stuff like that. But when you start talking about pianos and your bread and butter sounds, they can be a little bit lackluster. And like sample space is limited. Like when you talk about the montage, what you get like 10 gigs of sample
10
storage
gigs,
space.
doc.
That's all you're
It didn't
getting,
do
but
nothing for the polyphony though.
you're spending 4,500 for that board. You know what I'm saying? Like V Stage, a V Stage you can't load. It has no sample memory. You're not loading anything in a V Stage that's not like Zencore or Rolling Cloud or whatever. And I think even the space on that is limited. It's not you ain't got 30 gigs of space in the V Stage to do anything with the add sample stuff with. Nord is limited. So I can definitely agree with him on that point that like if you're going to be spending that kind of money, um, it's just that. And then if you're building out an all software rig, you just kind of got to know what it is and what you're building. You can build a solid rig that can work in a live situation that you can carry with you, portability, all of those things. It's just you
I
gotta
need to
be a different
evangelize.
type of user.
John,
Go ahead.
I need to
John,
evangelize after Kenny
John,
says what he's gonna say.
John, John. No. You know what's crazy about this conversation, and I
What's
get it,
crazy about it?
because now I'm finna say some real crazy stuff. If you go pick up a
This
Bugatti is 2 point something and change me. No, 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 no.
okay, come on.
Follow me on this
Okay.
journey. I don't own a Bugatti. I can't afford a Bugatti. Well, I don't own a Bugatti. But if you go pick up a Bugatti, do you know how many miles to the gallon a Bugatti get? No, I got a question. No, 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 no. I want to ask you a question. Do
Okay.
you know how many miles to the gallon a Bugatti get?
How many miles? 8.
13 miles to the gallon. 13. 13 miles to the gallon. If you go buy a Tesla, do you know that a Tesla tell you that you can get about 300 and some change,
Now
maybe
you're getting like
400 and some
125.
change until they started adding on. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Don't cut the
Hold on,
air
let me
on.
preach.
Don't
I
cut the
don't
radio
say
on.
amen yet. Don't say amen yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't nobody say amen. Give me 20 seconds. I'm gonna close. So when you go and spend money on what you want to spend money on, you're not looking for it to get you from A to B to C to D, right? Sometimes you just want to pull up and say, I got this $6,000 board. I'm not worried about the cent. Because I got all of them synth boards back there. I got this. I don't remember how much I paid for this rolling V stage. I got this rolling V stage and I don't care about the sample memory. You have people who are true to brand. How many of us have Apple phones? And we don't care that Samsung, you can watch, you can open up a Samsung, it's this doggone big. You can do all of this with the Samsung Galaxy. It can fold into your pocket and do, nobody gives a flying crap. Okay? We don't care. We don't care. And because we don't care, that's the same thing when it comes down to these keyboards. We're not talking about now. The reason why I'm upset with Nord when it comes to the price point of the Electro is
Mm,
simply because you are giving me half the stuff for more of the price, and then you have another board that's just one tier over and a couple $100 more in the same space. That's why I have a problem with price point. I don't have a problem with price point because of affordability. I have a problem because you have something that's just right there, and I could be like, your
mm.
menu is too broad. Close that menu up some and just give me 4 keyboards to choose from. You get
That's
what I'm
fair.
saying?
That's
And at
valid.
that point, then I don't have to worry about is the key bed dope on Electro 7 and it still don't give me the playability to do what I need to do in most
You and this
situations, right?
playability.
So let me
In
be the
most
devil's
situations,
advocate
I'm
then.
closing here. In in most situations, if you need a synth board, you're gonna have a synth board on top, and you're gonna have a main board on bottom.
Yeah,
And your main board, you're not gonna be looking for your main board to carry the full load of everything. This is
true.
why we have all of these polyphony issues anyway, because y'all want to use all 8 faders at 100% and don't know that it ain't gonna sound good no way in the mix. Amen. I close the Bible.
So let me
Hey,
be the
I'm
devil's
gonna
advocate
go
in
get
this
this.
because that's a good point. That's a good point, Kenny. You close at the perfect spot because with the advancement of technology in these boards, I think one of the boards to do this the best, argue with you, mammy, because I'm not going to argue with you about it, is the RD 2000, preceded
RD.
by the RD 800,
Okay,
RD
explain. Let
Roland
me hear this.
RD. Because what you have, and the montage does it really good, but there's one caveat with the montage that
Mm-hmm.
holds it back from being great.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's that you can hook up one cable besides the sustain pedal, besides the stereo outs, besides the power cable, that is a USB cable from your keyboard to your computer. And if you want to
Mm-hmm.
play your keyscape piano, and I'm saying keyscape because that's the one that I probably like the best. That keyscape I think is the C7. If you want to play
Yeah.
your keyscape piano out of there, then you can with one cable. It speaks MIDI, it speaks audio. It's a D to
And you
A
still talking
converter
about the
or A to
RD two
D
thousand?
converter. And I'm still talking about the RD 2000. You
Yeah.
could do it with the Jupiter. You can't do it now because they didn't update the firmware to acclimate with the new operating systems on these newer computers. But you used to be able to do that with the Roland Jupiter and the older Roland boards. Roland has done an amazing job with this. The RD 2000. Now Yamaha does it with that montage. You can do that now. The thing that holds Yamaha back, Yamaha. I know you ain't listening. I know you don't care because you make motorcycles and refrigerators too. But you can't use your traditional MIDI with your USB MIDI. That is so
Yeah.
1980s,
Yeah.
bro.
That's
Like
whack.
what the world?
Yeah,
So,
that's whack.
but the point that I'm making for you guys, and I'm the challenger, is I'm challenging you guys to dig deep in your setups. Set your board up to where if you're going to use your computer, I'm a fan of hybrid systems. So use it to where it works amazingly. And with this keyboard, I know you can't see it. It's out of focus, but there's a button here that you can press and press shift and it changes to where you're controlling MIDI. So it has 8 faders giving away
Mm-hmm.
free game. Y'all need to consult with me so y'all can get these boards set up right so that you can set these systems up right so that you can
Yeah.
play your hybrid systems and you don't have to worry about polyphony. Because if I have my piano, which has pretty much as much polyphony as I make it, coming through my keyboard, and I can use a fader on my keyboard, I can set and forget. Let me wake you up to something else. And this is something that a lot of people are delving into now. You have iPad apps.
Mm-hmm.
These iPads, they work like computers. They work. Imagine this being your setup.
You
It
take
can
this
be.
thing in
Yeah.
there. There's an app on here that I'm not going to tell you about. You got to call me to get it.
Dude,
There's an
gotta
app on
call
here that
you
works
to
just like
talk to app.
MainStage. You absolutely. I'm
I
not
got
telling you
videos
because
on
I'm
that
giving away
app.
too
I know
much.
what app you talking
You
about.
you got too.
And it's
I'm
on my
giving away
channel
too
for
much
free.
free game. So, and I can help you get it set up. But you can set this
Gatekeeping the
thing up like
iPad app is crazy
MainStage.
though, bro.
Listen, man, because I'm giving too much free game away. I'm telling you, I got so
They're
many
not
people
gonna
that always
remember
call me
that.
like,
I'm
"Hey, man."
telling you what I know. They're gonna log off the stream. They're gonna forget.
That's why
They're
it's
gonna
on
forget all
YouTube
of
so
it.
they can rewind it. They'll be like, he was talking about this app. Let me go find. You know what? I'll tell you the app. The app is called AUM.
Yeah.
It's called
I'm like, you ain't gotta
AUM.
gatekeep. They still don't know how to use it.
So
They still gonna have to come to you to go figure out how to use
yeah,
it.
so
If
come to
that's
me
the
to. Hey, man, you kind of hating right now,
I'm
but
not hating. I'm just saying, game, spit your game, do your thing.
But the thing about it is you have those of you who don't want to pay the what 200 plus for Ravenscroft. The Ravenscroft app on here, it's not as expensive, but y'all not gonna go into it like
Yeah, you get the same
the
piano
computer
sound.
anyway. Yeah, you get the same exact piano samples on there, and you can set it up to where it is decent, and you can play it through this iPad. I want to say the last time I checked, it was $40.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have a Moog Model D in there. That's
Yeah.
like $5, I think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have
Yeah,
so
the
many.
AUM mixer.
There's
Yeah,
some
that
other
app.
synth apps in there that are going crazy, and I'm gonna clean you up real quick. I've had more glitches from my computer software than I've ever had from any iPad app. And these apps in here are crazy. Let me clean you up one more time. You have Alchemy
I told you.
in Logic. You have Alchemy. He said the app ain't no secret. Okay. All right, guys. We get the point. You have Alchemy in Logic that's running on here, the full version. So what I'm saying is, and I'm challenging you guys, is that you guys should try to change your setup to where you're using a hybrid setup so you don't run into the polyphony problems with especially your Yamahas, because you're not really going to have it with Nord, because Nord has split polyphony. They're one of the first to really do that. Korg did it too. And you're going to run into it with Roland, but not as quickly because you got vPiano. That's easy. And that's unlimited. But make that hybrid setup. Hit me up so I can help you set it up. That's what I'm preaching about.
Let's go. You and your infomercial. That's what I wanted to let you finish it. I was just waiting on you to say call 1-1888. Call Sheriden.
Listen, man, hit me up. Y'all playing.
Call Sheriden. Act
y'all
now.
Playing.
You can have it. But wait, there's more. I was waiting on all of that.
There's more.
But Come no, this is a great segue.
Playing, man.
Go ahead. I was going to segue because go ahead, because I think this is a good segue. Go ahead.
No,
what was you got to say?
No. You can segue because I was just going to go back to the point that if you don't spend the money in one, you're gonna spend the money in the other. That's all.
Y'all want to thank you for making it to the end of this video. I hope you found it relevant and helpful to your workflow and you got something out of it. If you did, please drop a like down below. If you didn't, I appreciate you for watching anyway. All right, but I'll talk to you guys on the next one. I'm out. Holla at your boy.